Brakatia Howell, Brakatia Shai, Brakatia Howell, Brakatia Shai, Brakatia Howell, Brakatia Howell, Bashim Shai, Bahashim Dash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which were well citation to the whole elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim, that do this thing and they have most truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled Epstein, Mossad, Israel is just the beginning or scratching the surface or something to that effect, because what's inspiring me to do this lesson is you're seeing that a lot of people are not letting this Epstein thing go aside, because Donald Trump, one of the things he ran on was he would release these Epstein files, if you will, and a lot of people wanted people that deal with sex trafficking to be held accountable, that are in prominent roles. And there's conclusive evidence that, back in 2002, it wasn't Alan Dershowitz. It was another attorney general back in Florida that said, look, we can't do anything with Epstein because he's an asset. He's a secret agent asset. And that's on record. Now you're saying, look, the Epstein files don't exist. They kind of want to sweep it under the rug, and people are like, why? And I'll say one thing about the MAGA supporters, that's the so-called right, if you will, that's a bit more different than the left, is they'll definitely formulate their own conclusions and just be like, fuck it, I'm not with it. So you have prominent figures in the right wing, like Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, even Alex Jones is saying, like, look, we can't let that thing slide, because if you let that slide, you come across guilty by association that you don't want to stand up for not so-called, but child sex trafficking, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So Trump has lost a lot of support. Even on the PDB podcast, Patrick Bet-David was just like, nah. And you got to remember, like, these people have millions upon millions of subscribers, you know what I'm saying? And people are watching that and like, holy shit, like, you telling me that our government is run by honey trapping our political figures? And yes, that's how it's being run. And it's being seen that, look, Trump is no different. They have shit on him too, because he will not come against Israel. No president will, you know what I'm saying? Pro-Zionist and all that. And the Mossad is having a lot of stuff come to light, and I was talking to one of the brothers, and he also goes into the witchcraft of it, like the occult aspects, and even that's going to come to light at some point. A lot of things that you see that we discuss will come to light. You see figures that were once dormant and suppressed, like, give an example, like Ryan Dawson. Now they're having major platforms. It's only a matter of time before you're gonna have your Jake Morfonios and these different people that tie everything together come to the mainstream, and eventually you're gonna have what we're teaching come to the mainstream. That's the fact that the real Jews, all right, or the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the real Israelites according to the Bible. That's gonna become mainstream at some point. The scripture said that we're gonna get fame in the land. But this is the Most High exposing Esau. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. It says, but I have made Esau bare, naked, all right, exposed. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide. So the works of these devils, all right, is going to become more on full display. And they would love to get rid of the internet. They would love to do that. They would love to get rid of the internet, because the internet is bringing out a lot of information. But guess what? They need the internet, because they also have to put out their propaganda. You see what I'm saying? They can't just shut off the internet completely. I mean, they can technically, but they don't want to, because they also have to push out news. Remember, that's how the Rothschilds got a majority of their wealth. You know what I'm saying? After that war with Napoleon, they said that Napoleon won when it was a lie and shit. They was able to spread news and information and profit off of it. Now, would they be able to do something like that now? No, because You have all these different platforms out there via the internet that could put up news of what's going on. Just like right now, what's going on with Israel Palestine. Like, you can't do a 9/11 get boots on the ground in Iran, because you have people that's documenting and showing you the other side. And with the access on the internet, you could hear other sides. You know, with the access on the internet, you could hear the truth, the prophets as well, first and foremost. It says, his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. So the point being that the Most High, all right, is exposing the shit out of Esau, the so-called white man, exposing Amalek, exposing America. You know, there's just a whole bunch of truth coming out, man. You can't suppress truth but for so long. Isaiah 47:1 says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. So that dust represents confusion. The daughter of Babylon represents America. All right. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. Okay. So coming off your throne and sitting down on the ground is a great sense of humility, meaning the Most High has humbled America. You know, they're longing to have the days of the 1950s where, you know, one guy had a house and supporting his family, and he came home to the wife making a pie and shit, and the family in order. That's completely gone. All right, the American, that's done with. You know what I'm saying? There's a huge wealth gap now in America, wherein most of the people are extremely wealthy, and a majority of the people are poor. You know what I'm saying? There's huge wealth gaps. You know, most people have to work 2 jobs and shit, and your wife got to work. Shit, sometimes the father, the mother, and the kid got to work. So it says, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Also, America is a virgin in the sense that it has not been touched yet. It has not been penetrated, and it will be penetrated by missiles. Okay, America has been the one that's been going out for these different countries and invading and stomping and regime change and doing all that shit and war with these nations. But America has not really been bombarded yet with weapons, all right, like they do other countries, but it will come to pass. It says, take the millstone and grind mill, right? Take the millstone and grind mill. So, you know, when you go into the book of Exodus, it talks about that. When the Lord spread those diseases, it says it's going to hit Pharaoh, all right, to the firstborn of Pharaoh, to the one that's behind the mill. So take the grindstone, when it says take the millstone and grind mill, means is you're going to be from the top, which is on the throne, to like the least of the society, which is behind the millstone, grinding mill. So that's a huge humbling right there for America. It says, take the millstone and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. So you seeing a woman taking off her thing, lifting up her dress, walking over the river. So she's been humbled, and this is her also being exposed, and she's being in the midst of confusion. All this is representing the state of America. Okay, now when you're passing over a river, the river could see up your skirts. You see, it says 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Right, all the sin, all the rape, atrocities and murder, all right, all that is going to be uncovered, and it is being uncovered. All right, now people are going into the fact that 9/11, COVID, JFK assassination, USS Liberty, the Gulf of Tonkin, Pearl Harbor, all these things were, you know, coerced by their own government. You know what I'm saying? So anytime now the United States try to do a move like that, people are saying false flag and really looking into it, because they can't trust the government. It says, I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So when Yahushua come back, he's not going to come back on a donkey. He's not going to come back as he did many years ago. He's going to come back to cause a wreck, man. Let me see if I can get these last 2 scriptures in. All right, so the waters, seeing up that woman's dress and seeing her nakedness, I'm going to show what the waters represent. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 15. It says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So different, how is different nations and multitudes and tongues being are seeing all the wickedness and seeing all the lies, the rape, robberies, and murders of the so-called white man through the internet, man. You see? This Epstein thing is going global. The fact that you have different politicians. By the way, he's not the only person. He didn't start this ring, this child pedophilia trafficking ring. He was already he was grafted into something that's well established. He had many different islands, okay? And there is a client list, man. To say that there's no list is complete bullshit. Nobody's buying that. Okay? You have flight logs. You have text messages. You found child pornography, right? So who was dabbling else with that? So they're seeing that nobody's being locked up and it's pretty much business as usual, which lets people think like, look, man, you got to have something over you, which most of these politicians do, okay? They're compromised in every, not every single member of a cabinet is going to be compromised, but if you are in a prominent role, they'll compromise you, whether it be money or honey traps, all right, to get their, you know, shit across, you know. I guess it's the last one I have time for. I'm gonna jump real quickly to it. This is the book of Obadiah 1:6. It says, "How are the things of Esau searched out, or his hidden things sought up?" Right. So the Most High has made Esau bare. The Most High has exposed his hidden things. You know, Psalm 64:8 says that their own tongue is going to fall upon themselves, and the Most High has also set up his prophets, Amos 3:7, to reveal the secrets. Okay, he revealed the secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So more shit will be exposed by the so-called white man. All right, I don't think this thing is going to go away. There's always going to be something new to pop up, and people are trusting their government less and less, which is also a fulfillment, partly to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, where it speaks about they shall not regard their kings and princes, meaning their higher officials. Why they're not going to regard them? Because one, all hell is going to break loose, okay? And secondly, they're not trusting them, man. They're not trusting them. They lie to them so much. It's like, fuck the government at this point. All right, so with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Ruach HaKodash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopefully elect that day. You Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.